Imagine you're a German U-boat commander in 1942. Every order you receive, from Berlin to the middle of the Atlantic, arrives wrapped in perfect secrecy. You tap it into a sleek, typewriter-like machine called Enigma. Each letter you press flashes another, scrambled beyond recognition. The settings change daily. There are trillions of possible combinations. Your instructors swear no enemy will ever read these messages. Now jump to a cold, windowless hut in the English countryside. Rows of young men and women chain smoke over endless streams of gibberish. Beside them, towering machines clatter relentlessly. Every click is a wager against time and against Hitler's war machine. Tonight's video tells the story of how a group of mathematicians, linguists, chess champions, and ordinary clerks cracked what the Nazis thought was unbreakable. We'll see how their work turned the tide of World War II and quietly helped invent the computer age, while almost no one outside those huts even knew they existed. To understand how Allies broke Enigma, we first need to grasp what it was, and why everyone thought it was unbeatable. Enigma was a portable electromechanical cipher machine, using rotating wheels, or rotors, and cables to transform every letter typed into another, seemingly random one. With multiple rotors, different starting positions, and daily key settings, Enigma created an astronomical number of possible configurations. German forces used Enigma for everything: U-boat positions, battle plans, supply routes. If the Allies could read those messages, they'd see right inside Hitler's war machine. If they couldn't, convoys would keep vanishing into the Atlantic. In this video, we'll follow the story from early Polish breakthroughs through the secretive world of Bletchley Park and Alan Turing's machines, all the way to D-Day. And if you enjoy deep dives into hidden history like this, consider subscribing and tapping the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next, especially the twist at the very end. The story doesn't start in Britain or with Alan Turing. It begins in interwar Poland, where a small team of brilliant mathematicians quietly took on Enigma years before World War II erupted. In the late 1920s and early 30s, Polish intelligence intercepted German encrypted traffic and realized traditional linguists couldn't crack it, so they turned to a new kind of weapon: young mathematicians trained in group theory and permutation analysis. Among them were Marian Rejewski, Jerzy Różycki, and Henryk Zygalski. Rejewski was given a monumental task: reconstruct the internal wiring of the Enigma machine without ever seeing one opened. Using intercepted messages, commercial Enigma manuals, and some stolen key material from French intelligence, he built a mathematical model of the machine. By 1932, he'd effectively broken the German military Enigma. This early Polish success didn't just read messages, it laid the theoretical foundation that everyone else, including Turing, would later build upon. So how did Rejewski actually do it? The key was treating Enigma not as a mysterious black box, but as a mathematical object. He realized each day's Enigma settings created a specific permutation, basically a systematic way of shuffling the alphabet. German operators sent a doubled indicator at the start of each message, encrypted twice with the same settings. That repetition created a subtle pattern, a weakness buried inside oceans of gibberish. Rejewski used this flaw, along with a stolen set of German key tables, to build equations describing how letters were transformed through the rotors and plugboard. From there, he reconstructed the machine's internal wiring, something even the Germans considered top secret. To exploit this, the Poles built devices called Bombe cryptologiczna, or cryptologic bombs, early mechanical aids designed to search through possible Enigma settings. It was an extraordinary achievement. A small, underfunded country reverse engineering the most advanced cipher machine in Europe using pure mathematics and ingenuity. By the late 1930s, danger was closing in. Germany rearmed, Enigma grew more complex, and Poland knew war was coming. The Codebreakers faced a brutal reality. If they were overrun, their work, and the Allies' best chance at reading German traffic, could vanish. In July 1939, just weeks before Hitler invaded Poland, Polish intelligence summoned British and French representatives to a secret meeting near Warsaw. There, they revealed one of the greatest intelligence gifts in history. They had been reading German Enigma traffic for years. They handed over reconstructed Enigma machines, detailed notes, and the methods behind their breakthroughs. British cryptanalysts who had been stuck were stunned. One recalled feeling as if a secret door had opened. When Germany invaded in September, the Polish codebreakers scattered, some captured, some escaping through Romania and France to eventual British exile. But their knowledge traveled with them, becoming the seed from which Britain's Bletchley Park operation would grow. With war underway, Britain needed a central hub to handle the tidal wave of intercepted German messages. That hub became Bletchley Park, a Victorian estate in Buckinghamshire, transformed into the nerve centre of Allied code-breaking. Bletchley quickly filled with an eclectic mix: Oxford and Cambridge mathematicians, crossword champions, classicists, linguists, chess players, and thousands of women recruited from the services. Many had no idea what they'd be doing until they arrived. The place was divided into huts, each with a specific focus: Army, Air Force, naval codes, or machine development. Security was obsessive. Staff were told never to say Enigma, only the special work. People might sit side by side for years and never know what the other actually did. Despite the secrecy and pressure, Bletchley developed its own strange culture: long night shifts, overworked tea rooms, piano sing-alongs, and a shared, unspoken belief that their invisible battle could change the course of the war. Among the many minds at Bletchley, Alan Turing stands out, not as a lone genius, but as a pivotal architect of machine-assisted code breaking. When Turing arrived in 1939, he inherited the Polish insights and immediately focused on scaling the attack. The Germans had increased Enigma's complexity: more rotors, more plugboard connections, stricter procedures. Hand methods alone couldn't keep up with the volume or the daily key changes. Turing proposed and designed a new kind of machine: the British bombe. It wasn't a computer in the modern sense, but it used logical deduction to rapidly eliminate impossible Enigma settings, searching for combinations that matched likely text in messages. Crucially, he turned messy human intelligence, guesses about weather reports, routine phrases, or operator laziness, into structured, mechanized tests. This blend of logic, engineering, and psychology was revolutionary. It laid conceptual groundwork for computing, using machines to automate reasoning over vast spaces of possibilities. So, how did the bombe actually work? Start with an intercepted Enigma message. Cryptanalysts would guess a small piece of its plaintext, called a crib. Maybe it's a routine weather report or the phrase Heil Hitler at the end. They'd align this guess with the cipher text and trace what Enigma's wiring would have to do to produce that transformation. This created a web of logical constraints, a chain of letter pairings that either could or could not exist under a valid Enigma setting. Turing's bombe embodied that logic physically. Its banks of rotating drums represented different rotor settings, while an intricate wiring system tested thousands of possibilities in parallel. When contradictions appeared, electrical circuits cut off, eliminating that configuration. When no contradiction emerged, the machine stopped, flagging a promising candidate. Operators then tested these few survivors on actual Enigma replicas. The result? A staggering reduction from trillions of theoretical settings to a manageable handful, often within hours, fast enough to be militarily useful. Machines alone weren't enough. The real magic at Bletchley came from marrying technology with deep human insight into how people actually behaved at their keyboards. German operators, like all humans, cut corners. They reused phrases, followed habits, and sometimes ignored instructions. Cryptanalysts in Hut 6 and Hut 8 built detailed profiles of these tendencies. One operator always wrote his girlfriend's initials in messages. Others started with predictable headings like ANX or repeated weather formats. These patterns became cribs, educated guesses about what parts of a message might say. A good crib had to be plausible German, line up neatly against the cipher text, and avoid letter-to-itself mappings, which Enigma never produced. Analysts also exploited systemic sloppiness, operators who reused yesterday's settings by mistake, or stations that failed to change keys on schedule. Every human error narrowed the search space. In a sense, Bletchley wasn't cracking a perfect machine. It was cracking fallible people using a powerful but imperfectly managed tool. Another crucial ingredient in the Enigma battle happened far from Bletchley on cold, violent seas. While mathematicians and wrens worked the bombs, sailors and commandos risked their lives to capture the raw materials that made breaking Enigma possible. German procedures relied on codebooks, key tables, and weather instructions specifying how to set Enigma each day. If you captured these, even briefly, you could read traffic until the Germans changed everything. In 1941, Royal Navy crews boarded damaged U-boats like U-110 and U-559, seizing Enigma machines, rotors, and vital key documents, often as the submarines were sinking beneath them. Several men died staying aboard just long enough to pass the material up. Elsewhere, raiding parties snatched codebooks from weather ships and coastal stations in the Arctic and North Atlantic. These daring operations gave Bletchley starting points, snapshots of German procedures that, combined with mathematics and bombs, kept the door to Enigma traffic open month after month. The product of all this effort, Polish mathematics, British bombs, dangerous captures, and endless night shifts, was code-named Ultra. It wasn't just another source of intelligence. It became one of the Allies' most jealously guarded secrets. Ultra intercepts revealed U-boat Wolfpack positions, Luftwaffe plans, and even internal Nazi arguments. But using this knowledge without revealing its source was a constant balancing act. If the Germans suspected Enigma was compromised, they'd change the system, and years of work would vanish overnight. So commanders sometimes let convoys sail into danger rather than act too perfectly informed. Alternative cover stories, reconnaissance aircraft, lucky patrols, were crafted to explain successes. Churchill reportedly called Ultra his golden goose, and insisted only a tiny circle knew its true origin. Even within Bletchley, most workers never saw the final intelligence. They just pushed ciphers through the pipeline, unaware their output might be sitting on Churchill's desk within hours. Did breaking Enigma win the war? Historians are careful here, but the consensus is striking. Ultra shortened the European conflict by perhaps 2 to 4 years and saved countless lives. In the Battle of the Atlantic, reading U-boat signals let the Allies reroute convoys around wolf packs, target submarines more effectively, and starve Germany of critical supplies. Shipping losses remained terrible, but they never reached the levels needed to force Britain out of the war. On land and in the air, Ultra revealed German dispositions before key operations, from North Africa to the Eastern Front, helping Allied planners anticipate and counter enemy moves. Yet Enigma wasn't broken everywhere, all the time. The Germans added new rotors, changed procedures, and occasionally went dark. Naval Enigma, especially with the 4-rotor Shark system, caused painful blackout periods. So the story isn't a straight line of dominance, but a constant race. Each German improvement met by new ideas from huts and labs across Britain and beyond. To see Enigma's impact most clearly, look at D-Day. By mid-1944, Ultra provided a detailed picture of German deployments in France, unit strengths, resupply patterns, even some command disagreements. This intelligence helped confirm that the deception campaign, Operation Fortitude, which suggested the main invasion would hit Pas-de-Calais, not Normandy, was working. Intercepts showed Hitler and his generals still expecting a second, larger landing elsewhere, even after June 6th. Because the Allies could read much of the German traffic, they knew when reinforcements would move, how quickly panzer divisions could respond, and where coastal defenses were thinnest or more rigid. Enigma decrypts didn't put troops on the beaches, but they shaped almost every major decision around the invasion. Timing, feints, bombing priorities, and the risk calculus of launching at all. In that sense, tens of thousands of codebreakers' pencil marks and machine clicks echoed directly into the roar of waves and gunfire along Normandy's shores. So what should we take away from the Enigma story today? First, unbreakable systems rarely are. Enigma's strength on paper, trillions of combinations, hid weaknesses in design, procedure, and human behavior. Security is never just mathematics. It's people, habits, and incentives. Second, collaboration mattered more than lone genius. Polish mathematicians, French spies, British engineers, naval boarding parties, and thousands of anonymous clerks all contributed essential pieces. Alan Turing was brilliant, but he was part of a vast, interconnected effort. Third, secrecy has a cost. Ultra's existence stayed hidden for decades. Many veterans died, unable to explain the crucial role they'd played. Their work reminds us that some of history's most important battles are intellectual, invisible, and only fully understood long after they're won. Finally, Enigma was a bridge to our own world. The logic behind Turing's bombs and Bletchley's methods helped shape early computing and modern cryptography, the same technologies that now secure or threaten our digital lives. If you've made it this far, you now know that the defeat of Enigma wasn't a tidy tale of one genius versus one machine. It was a messy, human, and profoundly consequential struggle that helped shape the modern world. If you'd like to see more deep dives into hidden history, cryptography, and the strange intersections of math, war, and technology, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. We'll be exploring everything from Cold War spy games to the algorithms quietly governing your everyday life. Let me know in the comments, what part of the Enigma story surprised you most? The Polish breakthroughs, the naval captures, or the ethical dilemma of letting some ships sail into danger to protect Ultra? And which topic should we cover next? The story of the Lorenz cipher or the birth of public key cryptography? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.